I'm Amelie and welcome once again to my channel. Today I'm going to be watching episode 4 of Guardian. And let me just say this. I am absolutely loving this show. I just love the characters. And that to me is a really important part of the show. I feel like for most of the shows that I've seen, I first get into the characters and then I get into the story. And I feel in this case, the story, obviously we had the individual stories of each of the episodes or the different arcs that we have so far. But I feel like the general story is still to me too vague to really get into it. Like I'm curious about it, but I don't understand it much yet. Like I understand the context, but not the character, what the characters are doing, not the story and what the characters have to do with it. That I'm still curious. I'm open to see. But what I love about the show are the characters. I love them. I think from the first moment that I saw Xiao Shunlan, I recognized a character that I was going to love, and it was a self-fulfilled prophecy because I absolutely love him. I love that mixture of a guy who is an absolutely disaster, a little bit of an idiot, but also very competent at the same time. I don't know what it is. And also he has a beard, and you know how I feel about beards. The whole combination is deadly to me. So I feel like he was a character that was made for me. But I also love the other characters like Shen Wei, love him. Catboy, love him. Puppet Boy, love him. Snake Lady, adore her. I think she's a great character. And what is the other one? Little Guo, fantastic. I have the feeling for this show that is this going to be this sort of team that eventually becomes almost like family, and that is my absolute weakness. I love a good team dynamic, and I have the feeling that this is going to be it. So in that sense, I'm really excited for the show, and I'm really enjoying it, and I have no complaints on that side. However, and the however was coming. Last episode, the more I think about it, the less I was happy with it, the less content I was. I feel like definitely the way they dealt with the issue that they were dealing was definitely not the best. It was definitely not very well handled. And to be fair, I don't know how that issue is regarded within that culture. And I think maybe it's very different to the way it's regarded in other cultures. I don't know if it's, this treatment of this issue is common to other ways in which it's portrayed in other shows or in other media. And if there is any correlation with how it is seen generally in society. So in that sense, I have no idea if this is this was just the way it's usually dealt. I obviously haven't seen this issue dealt with in any other show, thank God. But as far as this one, I'm really, really uncomfortable with the way that they decided to do it. I think this is for several reasons. One of the reasons is, the fact that this woman had that happen to her, and as far as the show go, her life was over. Like there was no possibility of moving forward from it, of, recovering from what happened to him, to find healing from what happened to her. So I feel like the show was too focused on the purity side of the issue rather than on a woman having to deal with that situation and how that is. I don't know. I feel like it definitely, I wasn't happy with the message that, well, I don't know if they were sending a message, but I wasn't happy with the way they handle things, essentially. I feel like it was too much of a focus on that and not enough focus on what the guys did. Like, we know that technically it's not Xiao Shunlan and his team's duty to deal with it, and it's not like that lady had gone to the police or anything, which it really is understandable because that happened to a lot of women. And I assume that in a society that, place so much importance in purity, I can only imagine that it's going to be even more difficult to go to the police with things like that. But I don't know. I just didn't like it. At least I didn't like that aspect of the show. Which again, it doesn't mean that I don't like the show. I just don't like the treatment of this issue of this. And I'm avoiding saying a lot of things because I know that for a lot of people, already the fact that I'm discussing it, maybe for a lot of people is going to make them uncomfortable, which I can only imagine that seeing that episode is going to make them uncomfortable. But I'm trying to avoid saying anything that is going to be triggering for anybody who, may have gone through something like that. So, nothing. I wasn't happy about it. Which I don't know. I'm going to continue watching the show, obviously, and it doesn't lessen my enjoyment of the show. I assuming that it's not an issue that they're going to be doing a lot of a lot of episodes. I assuming that probably this is the only episode in which they're going to be dealing with it. Hopefully, but still, I just wanted to say it because I feel like there was something about the episode that made me uncomfortable, and I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is, and I don't know if I think somebody in the comments agree with me that they also were maybe not happy about that, and I believe that there might be more people, but obviously there's nothing we can do. We just can't talk about it, and that's it. And I don't know. I'm going to continue watching the show. And the last episode ended in a very interesting way because it ended with Shen WEI. He was apparently looking for someone who, and I don't know if this is right, was taking people's faces. I think that's what's happening there, which is very disturbing. So he was looking, on his own, he was looking for this person. And obviously, Xiaoshun Lanstein was also looking for this person. So obviously, they met each other. And the more obvious the most obvious way of thinking is that Shen WEI is probably responsible. Especially considering that this is the third time that he has been involved in a crime that Xiaoshun Lanstein had to investigate. And to be fair, the first 2 times were a coincidence. He didn't have anything to do with those. But this one was very much not a coincidence. I'm starting to think that maybe Xiaoshun Lan is going to start seeing some kind of pattern because is it possible that this guy is always involved? Is it really possible? I mean, it is because we know who he is. But it's going to be interesting. And the description that YouTube is providing for me is that Shen WEI is interrogated in turn by SID, which I assume is the name of the team investigators. Also interesting that they say in turn because I don't know what that means. Because if it says in turn, does it mean that Shen WEI interrogates them and then in turn they interrogate Shen WEI? Either that's very weirdly phrased, or maybe Shen WEI does get into some interrogation of his own. I don't know. Always these descriptions are always a little bit mysterious, so I guess we'll have to see. Okay, so today I have a lot of things to do, so let's go straight to the episode. Oh, I say after speaking for 9 minutes. Okay. Pretend I didn't say anything then. Okay, let's go to the episode right now.